In a universe where life does not end at death, we explore the infinite possibilities forged by our very minds. Welcome to Arthadian Anthologies. Pallas?
Pallas.
Pallas. Like a palace. Pallas. You hear your mother call out to you. Pallas! Will be ready in 5 minutes! You are exploring your basement, where supposedly your father had his research.
Definitely wasn't supposed to go down there,
No.
but I'm doing it.
You tiptoe down, making sure that the creaks of the wood are not heard by your mother as she is cooking. And you go down. I would like you to roll me a perception check.
That is 15. No, sorry, that is a 21.
As you step down to the final step, it's pitch black dark in here, and you suddenly feel this strange breeze flow past you, and then everything begins to light up. You see a desk at the end of this rectangular room. You also see what looks like a large bookshelf, books stacked across them. And you also see a single light shining, a sconce shining upon the desk. What do you do?
Was the breeze like cold and eerie, or was it...
It felt soothing.
Cool. I'm going to finish descending the stairs quietly and then walk over towards the bookshelf and just start looking at the backs of the books.
As you look at them, each book has inscribed on them different letters from the Majili script. But they don't have like actual names on them, just scripted letters.
Like A, B, that kind of thing. Okay.
Do you grab one, or
maybe later?
Okay.
I'm going to go over towards the desk where the sconce is lit.
You head over towards the desk, and on it is a book that just sits there, hasn't been opened. But as you reach the desk, what do?
I pull back the chair that's there.
As you go to pull back the chair, you feel another breeze, and the book goes open. And you see it lands on a single page of what looks like a large circle. And it almost looks like these flames are engulfing the circle in the center, and a large kind of like almost a face is there in the middle of the circle that is engulfed by flames, but it's like this large V, and it's terrifying but mesmerizing.
Exciting. Like a horror movie that you can't dare to look away from.
Yeah.
I'm going to just pull back the chair the rest of the way, and assuming I can sit up into the chair, I'm going to do so.
You sit into the chair, and as you sit into the chair, the book just, you don't hear anything, you don't feel anything, but you get the sense of it calling to you.
I'll sort of lean over and look into it.
You look into it.
It's a heavy book.
My dad is here.
Is the guest cameo that you all were waiting for.
But as you look into this book and you begin to see it almost looks like a ritual that is explaining something. And then you see, turning around, you look over, your mother is standing there, and she goes over and slams the book closed, and then you wake up, and you're underneath a tree in Laurel, resting. And then you hear walking up to you, Pallas.
It's Pallas.
Yeah, whatever. You see another apprentice Rune Forger step up to you. What are you doing under here?
It's peaceful here. It's nice.
Well, Master wants us to go meet with the sages.
Pallas gives a sort of a deep sigh, hint of reluctance, and stands up from his comfortable position, dusts himself off.
You dust yourself off, and he begins to walk over. He was like, I don't understand you sometimes.
What's there to understand?
I don't know, I feel like you would be more
Excited? Nervous? Is that what you feel?
I don't know, I'm just here to learn what I can. Alright. And you begin to walk over to where the other master is.
As I begin walking over, I just sort of gently hover my hand over my geolink, almost in like a sort of an anxious but familiar motion.
He looks the master looks over at you. This is Master Telvin. And he says, Pallas, are you ready to meet with the Grand Sage?
I am, Master Telvin.
And you see he pulls out a rune, and it looks like a cosmic rune. And then You see he opens a rift as the three of you jump through. You enter inside of what looks like a large library. You see massive bookshelves, codex shelves actually, as they line the walls and go throughout, and you see occasionally you'll find an archivist who is pulling out a codex, and then they look over and they see Telvin, and he walks up, and the archivist is like, "Ah, master, I shall fetch the sages." And he's like, "Of course, thank you." And he was like, "So who are we meeting today?" "We are going to be meeting with the Grand Sage, Orkelis." "Do we know what for?" "Well, after the whole debacle with this formless situation, we're going to need to figure out a way to unite the Quaxian and the Huvero Empire. Is this really like our most important duty?" And Reich looks over towards you. "Why don't you tell him, Pallas?"
Pallas takes a moment, breathes, and there's a little flicker of nervous sweat that's been down his forehead ever since we stepped into this archive.
Mm-hmm.
But he quickly shakes it off and says, "The Huvero and the Quexians, them being at war doesn't benefit Laurel or the rest of Archaea in any way. It only makes us weaker. And in a threat against, the kind I've heard about, we need all the strength we can get."
Alright. I guess you will understand since you're... And he looks back, and Reich's like, "He's what?" "You know, he's a part of this culture." "Indeed he is. You're from here, right?"
Born and bred in Archaea.
So you see some sages walking up, and they're like, "We'll take you to the Grand Sage now. Please, follow us." As they begin to walk around the bookshelves, they go to what looks like a door, and they put their hand on it, and you see them shift their hand sideways, and the door opens up into a spiraling staircase. You guys begin to walk through the spiraling staircase up to the top, and then it goes up to a long hallway that reaches a massive door chamber where the doors open up, and inside here there's an archway balcony that looks off into a sprawling jungle, and the sprawling forest that engulfs Laurel. And you also see other massive bookshelves lining the walls, as well as another archway that goes off into a corridor. And you walk inside, and you see the Grand Sage, an old man with a long white beard. His hair is kind of like just silver, and his eyes are glowing this kind of golden brown. And he looks over, he's like, "Ah, Rune Forger. Come, take a seat, along with the others. And Reich goes over. He's like, we aren't here to be here for long, Grand Sage. Only that we are wanting to make sure that everything is going according to plan with the Empress and the Council of the Quexian Theocracy. Oh, yes. I will be making sure that everything goes according to plan, but it's quite difficult when one of our own has gone missing.
Who's missing?
He looks over, and Reich is like, yes, please, explain. Well, it seems William Soar has gone missing. And Reich looks over like, really? I just saw him the other mark. This whole plan is his plan. He came to us after the death of the true Formless. What happened? Well, it seems as though he encountered some kind of energy being of some sort in his mind. And it was at the Huvero Empire that this happened. And he just vanished. We're not sure where he's at. All right. And who saw this? Apparently it was only him. But we did have another, the Archmage Arcasia. She was the one that witnessed his disappearance. But she did not see what he saw. He just explained it right before he disappeared. And so far, we don't know where he is.
How long has he been gone?
Well, he's been gone for 3 marks now. He's like, all right, well, the invasion still needs to go as planned. Will any Archaeans be joining us in this? And Arcellus is like, I believe we stood a chance with William Soar to convince the Quexians to join us. And the Empress specifically said that she would only join... Well, she'd only join if the Quexians did so as well. We are still going to try to figure out a way to convince them, but in the meantime, I would say you're going to have to go without Archaea's assistance. Unless someone else can convince the Quexians. And Reich leans back. Excantor needs to be destroyed within this month. Or also try to find another way to form a cataclysmic event that will be bigger and continue to try to find a new leader. And Nevo's like kind of listening to all of this, kind of confused about everything. And he looks over to you and he kind of mouths like, what's happening?
War against a threat that we've never faced before, and will seek to destroy every single realm and every single species that inhabits each of them. Where have you been?
Learning how to rune forge. And Reich looks over and is like, Pallas, have you had any experience with the Quexians?
No, I've had experience farming land.
Very well, I guess we'll go without the Archaeans. Not like they were important anyways. And you see he stands up. And he begins to walk out. And the Grand Sage is like, please inform Master Forger Ariosor that we are doing all we can to find him. Of course, I will do what I can. And you see he begins to walk out. Nevo is following suit. What are you doing?
What is the Grand Sage doing?
The Grand Sage is looking down, and you see he has his hand on his head, and is trying to... He's contemplating something.
Do you really believe that, Grand Sage? That the Archaeans don't have a place in this conflict?
Not at all. And you see Reich look back, like, Pallas, let's go. He's like, this conflict had its place here, actually began here. If anything, it is a conflict that will bring Archaeans together. William Soar saw that.
I guess he saw wrong then. And I'll turn around and begin following Delvin.
Okay. You walk out of the chambers as the chamber doors close. Delvin looks over at you. What'd you ask him?
I asked him whether or not he actually believes it, that Arkai has no place in the conflict with the Formless.
I didn't think they would even join in the first place. The fact that William was even trying says a lot about how observant he is about his own kind. But what do you think? Do you think they would actually go for this? Go for a world not even a part of our pillars, not even a part of Archaea, like of Magenium?
They would go. If only someone powerful enough was there to tell them that they had to. That was William Soar. Could be someone else.
It could be, but we don't have that time to find someone that powerful.
I suppose.
The invasion is in 2 marks. So far we have the Plasmatic Knights, the Rune Forgers, and a portion of Core Command. Should be sufficient. Especially with the true and formless dead. And, yeah. Anyways, I guess it's back to the Runic Core with us. Neville, what's your studies looking like?
Master, I am still needing to learn how to Rune Forge on the outer layer of the flow disk.
Alright. We'll get on that.
You're not going to be joining on this mission. He's like, but Master, I'm skilled enough to be able to handle combat. Not like this, you're not. Stay back. Keep learning what you can. Pallas, will you be joining?
I will.
Good. And you see Neva looks over at you. It's like, you're lucky. And Rack begins to walk out with Nevo following suit. What are you doing?
I'm following Telvin.
Okay.
But before we leave Nevo, I'm going to sort of glance back at him and scowl.
Okay. Yeah, Telvin, you all leave the actual library, and then Telvin pulls out the same cosmic rune and then makes a rift back to the runic core. Back to Orbital 1, where all the rune forging chambers are at, and where you learn to rune forge by your master. But you haven't had a master for a while. You've been kind of a solo rune forger. Just every now and then a master will call upon you to ask you to join him. Like this time. Mainly it's been Reich, Telvin. And he sees you as someone who can get something done for him.
He's right.
And as you reach your actual chambers in Orbital 1, you enter inside and you kind of plop down. And then you hear a knock on your door.
I will wordlessly sit up from my bed and slowly walk towards the door.
The door opens up and it's Telvin. And he's like, you have a moment?
I do, Master Telvin. Please, come in.
He walks inside and the door closes.
I will just sort of stand there uncomfortably.
And you see him pull out a little gadget and he places it on your desk and then it turns a little red light and it scans the room and then you see it glow and you know this to be a secure zone so that no one can listen in. And he looks at you and he's like, you're right about Archaeans needing someone to lead them. Someone powerful. You've always been very helpful, Pallas. Able to do the things that some other rune forgers aren't willing to do.
Well, someone has to make up for what other people lack in.
Indeed.
If I may, Master Telvin, please ask for what you came here for.
There's plans. This whole Cantorite threat. The fact that they are there might be something behind them, something greater. And some are beginning to suspect something. People like William Soar. These Cantorites need to be exterminated.
I agree.
But the truth is, we can't... The whole mission isn't extermination first. It's rescue. Specifically rescuing figureheads like the Rin Emperor and the Throne Lord of the Dwarven Citadel, who are weak enough to be captured by these creatures. Do you think that their lives are valuable?
Not more so than the warriors that will die trying to save them.
Exactly. Which is why I think extermination comes first before any rescuing. If we happen to rescue them, then fine, but we could just... We have the technology, we have the capability to completely decimate their world before they even get a chance to fight back. And it would be the least amount of casualties on our side. But I fear if we end up playing into this rescue mission, it's all a trap.
It's wise to think that way.
Plus, we also know that this all began because the Ren Emperor had this true formless in his clutches inside his vault, and it escaped. So, what's to say this Ren Emperor doesn't want us to destroy all of it? And then he commands his legion to stop, and then we, the Rune Forgers and Corps Command, are left there helpless, trying to rescue this person who didn't even want to be rescued in the first place.
It was the highest form of arrogance to believe he could contain a creature like that. And now he's reaping the seeds that he sowed then. And at this point, Pallas is beginning to feel a little bit more comfortable. Mm-hmm. He's realizing that Master Telvin's is sort of... They agree on a particular point of view. Mm-hmm. And he gives this big sigh and says, when my family worked a vineyard, whenever weeds would sprout in a section, we would cut a trench and burn everything down to the roots to stop the weeds from getting to the rest of the vineyard. And there were losses, but not complete losses. And what grew in the end was better for it.
Pallas, do you have allies here in the Rune Forger Order?
I am more of a fringe element. People don't seem to like me.
Oh, I like you. Listen. The council makes bad decisions time to time. I believe that Ex-Cantor should be eliminated. But I don't think we should go in rescuing I think we should go in exterminating. The Throne Lord already has a suitable successor, his son, who he's been grooming for some time, and he is well beyond his dying age. The Emperor has been around for who knows how long. Plus we have Vir Enzok here, who has been rather beneficial to the Pillars, and many see him as a leader. They're actually following his lead, all these Elite Plasmatic Knights. I'm thinking about sending someone in to Excantor before the actual rescue mission and finding out whether or not these two are still alive. And then having them return, being the bearer of bad news.
And when this bearer of bad news comes, we will
be able to exterminate.
I see. And you're thinking me.
I cannot do it because I am on the council.
Pallas gives like a loud sigh and then turns away from Master Telvin and just looks at the wall opposite of him, and so that Master Telvin can't see his face. And a grin just begins to creep up the side of Pallas's face. Yeah. I accept.
Good. I will prepare an award for you. Reward. For your return, if you do return.
Oh, I'll return.
These creatures are unlike many that you've faced. Yes, they are without a leader, without guidance, but they are still formidable.
Well, the skilled hunter knows which prey to hunt, and a pack that has lost its leader is the easiest to track.
I will send you there myself.
Here and now.
Not here. There is a specific chamber within this runic core that I made sure was built recently. It is void of all energy viewing. It should suffice for a good meeting point for us.
Where and when?
Meet me in 5 hours at the corner of the central orbital. You'll sense it when you get there. It's a slight sense. It's very hard to tell, but I feel you have a keen perception on you. that will be able to know what this is.
Pallas grabs the geolink on his arm again. Very well. I'll be there.
Good. And he nods to you. Thank you, Pallas. And he goes and walks up to the door, and it opens up and then closes. And you sit there thinking about this now. The space becomes so silent that you begin to remember another fragment that was so meaningful for you. Your mother had left. And you were there alone to do all the farming, all the crops. But as you were working, you felt that same pull back into the house, back into the basement. And outside there's a door that is chained up, usually chained up, like where you can actually open it up and go into the basement through there. And when you look over towards it, the chain is unlocked. You don't know how. But you also see on top of it is a raven that looks at you. And you see it fly up to the top of the house and then look down.
I drop my shears and begin walking towards the basement door.
You go up to it. What do?
I sort of unloop the chain from the handles and lift it open.
As you lift it open, you feel the breeze as you begin to walk down. The wood creaks. And you enter inside and you see the same desk from before. The bookshelves.
I begin slowly walking towards the desk.
You walk towards the desk. The book is still open to that page. This is probably like 4 cycles later. This memory.
I pull back the chair, sit down into it, and like I was before, just begin to peer into the page more closely towards the skull and the flames.
As you peer into it, it's almost like the flames have emerged out of the page, and they show you this dark entity. And You look down and you see a drop of blood at the base of the page. Fresh.
I take a moment to look around the room.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
$20.
20. You don't see anyone.
I slowly return to the book.
Okay.
Flip the page.
You go to flip the page. As you go to flip the page, you feel a breeze hit. Make the page stay there. And you see the drop of blood on the page didn't move.
I will slowly put my middle finger onto the spot of blood.
As you put your middle finger onto the blood, it slides up your hand quickly, up your arm, up to your neck, up to your mouth, and then it goes inside your mouth, and then you feel this darkness emerge into your hand, into your arm, as you suddenly see this. It's almost like it begins to pulse, and your arm stings like hell, and you see these dark tendrils begin to escape from your arm, and you begin to cough up this black ichor, and you breathe in, and then you hear I was waiting for this. And you shake your head and you hear this voice, and you're not sure what the heck is happening. And you look up and you see in these dark robes a man, an Archaean, leaning against the wall and looking down at you.
I'm still in the room.
Yes.
I will slowly or quickly stand up from the chair and sort of look briefly at my hand.
You see this dark protruding, almost like veins, massive veins are protruding from your arm, and it stings like hell.
Who are you?
I am a part of you now, my son.
The word son just seems to make him... He was walking towards the figure slowly, and then he stops in his tracks. You're my father?
I was. Did you get a letter?
Letter? No, there was no letter.
My familiar would have sent it.
The raven.
Indeed. You would have sent it at my death.
I begin looking around the room.
You look around the room, roll for another perception check.
21.
You can't find any letter, but he looks at you as like, it's useless. Most likely not in here. Your mother might have thrown it out, burned it.
Why would she do that?
I was not the greatest partner. But I wanted to make sure that my legacy lived on.
You said you were my father.
I am but a small portion of it. You now possess the part of me that once was.
I looked down at my arm.
And you see the veins are beginning to heal up, but it's a slow pace.
What you have there comes from a place that is beyond these realms. I am not sure what exactly happened, as I am not aware. The letter, if you find it, it would read exactly what I wanted for you to know.
I'll ask her. She must have read it. I'll begin walking out of the basement and then stop.
She's still out right now. Are by a neighboring town. And then he looks at you, he's like, my son, your world is about to change. You must go about this patiently. Everything that will come of what's just occurred will be the path towards your destiny. I am not sure exactly if you'll get a seat at the throne. Even then, there might not be a throne to be sat at. But we can make one. Together.
How?
If I am not mistaken, these realms are led by beings that harness the energies. And only few have the gift.
I run my hand over the mark on my arm.
You must find out if you have this gift. And if you don't, we will ingrain it into your soul. And as that happens, your eyes open up And you wake up, you sit up, and you stand up. It is about time to meet with Reich. The door opens up to you as you go to the meeting spot. And that's where we'll end this session. What'd you think of that?
It's been a while since I played Reborn in Power, but it's just like I remember. Oh, God. Oh, shoot. It's amazing to feel like I'm a part of something that happened before my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, yeah, thanks, man. I really enjoyed that.
That was good. I really enjoyed that because it's like it's like tying everything together.
Yeah. Me as a game master, I always enjoyed coming, like almost revisiting old events and sort of looking at them in a new angle, right? And seeing how things turned out. And this, I imagine, is very similar to what you're feeling right now.
Maui is just sniffing you.
Yeah. Maui just decided now, perfect timing, Maui. Now is the time. She knows this is the end.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for listening. If this ever gets out there, then you got a little thing about. Yeah. I like where it's going, though.
Me too.
Yeah. If death comes to you, would you like to say the?
May you be reborn in power.
And credits. I thank you for listening to Dusk vs. Dawn. With each entry, we explore deeper aspects of the turmoil within the core realms. I hope you are listening carefully as we get closer to the climax of Evemore's will. Also, if you want to be reborn yourself, you can subscribe as a Chosen to access Chosen creation and exclusive Codex entries. Until next time, travelers, be safe, stay safe, and if death comes to you, may you be reborn in power.